I'm doing about 5 hours today, and I've got some bottles here. So these are 750 bottles, 750 milliliter bottles, and I don't have, I didn't have my usual bottles available. Okay, so I had to use a bit of ingenuity today. So I've had to use these slightly undersized bottles for these elite cages. So I've got an elite cage and then just like a carbon fiber, sort of Chinese mold carbon fiber on the back. So I've had to use some rubber bands to stop them coming out. That one's very covered in rubber bands. And I've got also another bottle. So I've got about 2 liters of water, and I've got 100 grams of sugar in each bottle. So that's 300 grams of sugar. And I've also got some vegan gummy sweets in my leg pockets. So I've got a bag of these in each pocket. So I've got well over 500 grams of sugar. I've got getting on for about 600 grams of sugar. So I've got at least 100 grams of sugar an hour, plus some extra if I feel like I need to add more, if I feel like I need to do that. So yes, I'm aiming for about 5 hours, and it's going to be a hilly one. Can you tell? Looks hilly, doesn't it? So I'm probably going to be doing in the region of about 5,000 to 6,000 feet of elevation. And yeah, I always say at least 100 grams of sugar an hour. And yeah, if it's hillier like this, so I'm spending in the UK, the UK, if it's going uphill, you don't really have huge long mountain passes. So if you may be going up for 15 minutes at the most, it means you're only coming downhill for a few minutes. So my normalized power might be a little bit higher than it has been of the last 2 weeks. So just riding again, so no efforts, so no sprints or intervals. So if you want to get fit, I always say you need to ride your bike. So you're not going to just get fit or sustainably fit thrashing yourself every day doing these high intensity interval training. So I know there's quite a few people I've met who've got really into maybe doing hill climbing, for example, in the UK, and they do it for a few seasons, or they just come and go because they target like a race like the hill climbs here in the UK, sort of in the autumn, and it sort of burns them out because they just do they go out and they do lots of the effort to get fit for those short hard efforts. But because that's not really enjoyable, it's not enjoyable doing that basically every day, which is what I've seen. Those riders who I've known for the last few years disappear because they just do that and then they don't enjoy it. So on this channel, I help people to lose weight sustainably. And most of my riding that I do is just riding. So that's what I've learned, is the answer is not intervals. And yes, you will have to at some point do those efforts that are the efforts that essentially make you hate yourself. Decide, why am I doing this? And if you're having that thought, or why am I doing this, and you're having that thought every day, that's not sustainable. Just like anything should be fun. So I enjoy those days where I just feel good, and I don't set a certain day. So at the moment, I'm just building back into fitness after a month off the bike, and I'm going to be targeting the hill climbs in the autumn 2025 here in the UK, and I want to target doing these without essentially hating cycling. So yes, the days when I feel tired, if there's days where I feel tired, I reduce the amount of time I'm doing, and that's something that you have to get into that mindset that if you just, your coach says you're doing 5 hours today, you can do 5 hours, do it, and then you just have to do it. And so for me, I feel good. I'm going to do 5 hours. But then, if I had 5 hours planned tomorrow and I just was like, oh no, I can only do an hour and a half, that's fine. And it's not because, oh, I shouldn't have done 5 hours today. That's just normal, okay? So what you need to do is, if you want to essentially increase your ability to recover better, I would say just as a baseline, just to improve your overall fitness and health, is high sugar. So always high sugar. You always want to base your lifestyle on one that allows you to perform. So high energy performance, and that's through understanding mitochondrial health. So essentially, your muscles, they're a store of they're not a store of protein. They're a store of sugar and water. So glycogen is sugar and water. And it's in the name, high. So carbohydrate. So carbohydrate. So hydrated sugar. And yeah, glycogen is sugar and water. So if you're storing 1 gram of sugar, so glucose, you're storing it with 3 grams of water. So that's why sugar water is always good to drink for hydration. So sugar water. And yes, just think, when you do your event, if you ever target one and you become dehydrated, or people become dehydrated, and they need to be treated by the medical industry, you'll get a drip into your main line, into your vein, They'll put sugar water into you. So no, sugar is not the cause of all disease and becoming fat and sick. Okay, so being fat and sick is caused by too much protein, too much fat. So I can already tell you today that I know that I'm going to be probably having at least 500 grams of sugar from on the bike from 5 hours. So that's 500 grams. And overall today, so I'll show you what I'll have for breakfast. My lunch essentially doesn't exist because it's become nutrition on the bike, and then dinner, I'll show you what I'm going to have. So I can already tell you, so 500 grams plus breakfast I already had, and I had about a few hundred grams as well in the morning, and then I'm going to have again a few hundred grams, so I'm going to be getting on for about a kilo, maybe 900 grams of carbohydrate today. Not just through life experience, knowing that that's how much you need. And then, yeah, with harder training, that would go up well over a kilo, because I'd then be having maybe 110, 120. For me, I get to about 100, I get to about 150 grams of sugar, and that starts to feel a bit sickly. So yeah, if you want to get used to that feeling of always having lots of sugar, I always recommend at least 100 grams. And yeah, when you do longer rides, it does feel a bit sickly at first. So that's what I've noticed doing these longer rides, starting to do longer rides. It does taste a little bit sickly, and then it's amazing. You get used to it, and then that allows you to be able to perform at your best. So if you ever limit your carbohydrate intake, calories, never limit your carbohydrate calorie intake, but limit your fat and protein. And I just noticed some wildlife here. It's a little worm here. So yeah, I appreciate nature as well on this channel. So there's a little worm there. You see it? Do you see it? Where is it? There it is. There you go, big worm. So I'm still dry. Still dry here in the UK. What's this, day 12? 12th day and still dry. It's almost magical as the 12 days of Christmas, that, isn't it? 12 days without rain in the UK. Yeah. Temperature's now starting to drop though. Now in September. But Hopefully the weather should stay good. It's usually okay in September in the UK. September's usually fairly nice month, but yeah, the summer was fairly dry, but I spent most of it off the bike because of injury. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video, and like and subscribe, and join the Lean for Life, okay? The Lean for Life Club on this weight loss lifestyle. So people who care about their health care about, therefore, what affects their health. So they care about what goes in, what they eat, and therefore being fit and healthy.